Hello and a warm welcome to That Grassroots Ramble, the show bringing you all the latest news, views and expertise to help support the beautiful grassroots game. By now you're probably well aware that the show is brought to you by My Club Pro. So we thought it was about time we learned a little bit more about the company, what it does and how in turn it supports grassroots football. And there's no one better to have on the sofa alongside me than the founder, Jason. Jason, welcome
Hello.
to the other side.
Yeah, it's interesting being over here.
We'll get comfortable because I think, like I said, it's about time we learned a little bit more about My Club Pro and how it came to exist.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so my background's in web design and development, and the idea really came from my playing days. So I'd played lots of different levels of the grassroots game, right from Sunday football right through to semi-pro. And you look at other websites of other clubs, and I soon came to realise back then, and we're talking about 2012, 2013, that there wasn't really a lot of options out there. The two main options were both free options, but they were really geared around offering websites covered in advertising. That's how they made their money. So we came at it from a different angle, being the design angle with a low-cost subscription. And that just enables us to not have the advertising plastered all over everything. And keeping it affordable. So our packages start off, £5 a month, and then it grows depending on the size of your club. And yeah, so then we launched in 2014.
And since then, obviously, you've got thousands of clubs across the country and beyond subscribing, utilising the package that you've developed. What has been the biggest draw that you've found from clubs kind of knocking on your door asking for the service?
I don't think I could ever really put it down for one reason. I think you need to break it up into, the professional look you've got to have. Ease of use, really important. And it's something we get a lot of compliments on from our members, and it's something we really focus on. Coming from an agency background, that's always the way we've developed websites. That's carried on into My Club Pro. Time-saving features, probably the most important for the volunteers. So online members database, our payment system, player registration. And then the latest one we've added being the full-time fixture integration, which has been really well received. The members are loving that, saves them a lot of time. Telephone support is always important to our members. They always comment on, I can actually speak to you on the phone. That's different to a lot of the big organisations. And then the fact that we're a community product, it grows with our members' feedback. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't be able to advance it in the best possible form for our members.
And without it sounding too strange a question, obviously all those time-saving tools, we know that's so important. We've spoken about it on the show before, and from a volunteer's point of view. But why have a public-facing website in the first place? Yeah,
I think if you were to ask any club that, they're going to say, well, to get found online, and it is, but it also goes beyond that, and you can think about it from three angles. For me, you've got the current player perspective. Having a nice website gives them the opportunity to feel proud of their achievements. They can, they view match reports, they see imagery online of the games, they can view their player profile. And then beyond that, for them, it's kind of communication with those players as well, where the next game is, where I've got to be, what the directions are. And then, for potential new players, new volunteers, new sponsors, it's, if they just move to the area and they're going to look up the local football clubs, who's going to stand out to them? Who's going to be selected? The one with a great looking professional website, or certainly not one without one at all. And then from the perspective of other clubs, other clubs are going to come to your website, they'll look up your ground directions. If you've got a fixture against them and there's a good match report, it might get shared to social media. And as we know, clubs supporting other clubs to generate online exposure is so important in maintaining the modern grassroots game. So they're the main reasons for me, and there's probably plenty more I haven't covered.
And they really tie in, don't they, topics that we've spoken about on the Ramble. And I guess on that point, we know that a lot of volunteers, a lot of club secretaries, treasurers watch the show for some really good tips and advice. So no pressure, but can you give us some hints and tips that you found really helped clubs?
Yeah, so I probably think of three. So you've got sharing the workload would be my first one. And I know we've kind of covered that in other episodes a little bit with social media. But don't leave it to a single webmaster, because you're just going to end up with backlogs of data that have got to then be put online. If that person's gone on holiday or something, it's not ideal. So we offer two options. You've got full admins that can edit every part of the website, and then you can have individual team admins, so they can actually edit only the parts that relate to their team, and so you can spread the workload as far as you'd like. The second one would be, for me, dedicate at least a day and time, that you're going to stick to it to enter that content and update the website, because that way you're not then being chased, because people get used to, okay, he updates or she updates the website on a Friday or a Sunday or whatever it might be. So you can avoid all the chasing. And then the last point would be, and probably the most important for me, ensure good use of quality photography and graphics. And again, we've covered that in social media, but it is so important that there's nothing worse than a website with low-res, pixelated images or terrible graphics. And there's a couple of tools out there that can help with that. One I would suggest having a look at would be Adobe Fireworks, which a lot of people wouldn't necessarily look to now. It's a bit of an older product, but it's kind of a hybrid between Photoshop and Illustrator, and it's got a much steeper learning curve. It's a much easier tool to get your head round. And if you really don't want to create graphics, there are options out there. You've got, for example, Evilise, Matchday Graphics, evilise.com, and Kev over there does great work, and they work with over 1,000 clubs, and their graphics really do make an impact on your website.
Yeah, I really don't think people can take for granted how important a resource a website is for a football club.
No.
And for anyone maybe wanting to learn a little bit more, maybe like you say, to sign up and test the package, where should they head?
They need to go over to our website, which is myclubpro.co.uk. We always tend to have some sort of offer running. It's currently spring, so we've got a spring offer, which is if you buy now, you're not going to pay anything until 1st of April. But as I say, there's, depending on when you're watching this, there's always going to be some sort of offer on.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for heading to that side of the sofa. It's really interesting to learn a little bit more about what My Club Pro does and how it is supporting the grassroots game. Do you run a club website? What challenges do you have on a day-to-day, weekly basis? Let us know your thoughts. Use the hashtag MyClubPro. Connect with us on our social media channels, or maybe even leave a comment in the section below. And that is about all we have time for this week's episode of That Grassroots Ramble. Join us very soon when we will be discussing the topic around strength and conditioning within the game and how to keep players fit and healthy as we head to the all-important business end of the season. Until next time.
If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a ramble.